Hey, so today on Tuesday Tip, I wanted to talk to you about irrigation emergencies. So we get calls all the time. You came home late at night, or it's 5 o'clock, or on the weekend, and what happens? The irrigation system is broken. And this time of the year is kind of normal for that because we're getting some cold weather, but we're getting some warm weather, and some people are out there using irrigation systems. And so I wanted to go over a couple of simple tricks to help maybe fix that irrigation issue in the middle of the night when you can't get a plumber or an irrigation guy on the phone. So one of the things that you can keep in mind is go out to your controller. Your controller should be in the garage or on the outside of the house, and turn it to the off position. See if the irrigation system is stuck from an electrical standpoint. If the irrigation system is still running, or that area is still running, or whatever, then what you can do is just go out to your meter of your house. So if you have a city meter, typically it's out by the road. There'll be a valve box in the ground with a little dial, and that dial will be spinning really fast, and you'll need a pair of pliers or a crescent wrench. And what you'll do is you'll reach down in that valve box, and on each side of that meter is a shutoff valve. And what you can do is turn that valve off. What that will do is that will turn the water off completely to your house most of the time, and to that zone of irrigation. Give it about 20 or 30 minutes, and then slowly but surely turn that valve back on in that valve box. And a lot of times what will happen is we will find that the plunger inside of the electric valve, the irrigation will drop down, and that will allow the irrigation to close off and shut off. So that's kind of one of those simple tricks that you can do. The other thing that you can do is if you have a ball valve, or called an isolation valve or ball valve, that comes off of the meter that runs the irrigation, you can very easily just turn that ball valve off, and then that'll shut the water off to that section or that zone until you can get someone out to fix that or to make that repair. The other thing that we get calls all the time is a broken line. So broken lines are pretty common. And what we would recommend that you do on a broken line is find that isolation valve and turn it off. And what that will do is that will stop water from going to that section or to that area in that. Typically that ball valve is right behind the meter. So if you looked at the road has your main line, the main water source, and off of it comes your meter. That's where the city monitors how much water you use, and then typically right behind that meter will be a ball valve, and that ball valve is where you can cut the water on and off. And it may go directly to the house, it may go and elbow off, but you want to have that isolation valve in there. If you think, well, I'm not really sure if I have an isolation valve, or I'm not really sure if I have a shutoff, then spring and summer may be a great time to look at coming out and putting that isolation valve in. And the reason is because that isolation valve will make your world a whole lot easier if something goes wrong with the irrigation. If you don't have an isolation valve, the disadvantage to that is the water's going to be running to the house and to the irrigation system, to the swimming pool, to everywhere you have water. So that water is running, and if you have a break and you have no way to shut it off, then you actually lose water in your house. And so you have to turn the water off to your house as well as to the irrigation. That isolation valve makes it easier, and you can just cut off that one section. We get calls sometimes about broken heads or broken pipes. Again, you just do the same thing. The easy thing is just to go to the isolation valve and turn them off. If you have a major repair, then we can dig into that and find where it is. But we've got clients who have 4-inch main lines, and I've got clients that have 1-inch main lines, and so you want to make sure that you know where those shutoff valves are and they're in place. If you don't have them in place, it'd be a great opportunity to put a valve in place to be able to shut that off. If you're having issues with the irrigation system, as far as some emergencies of the sprinkler is shooting out into the road, or it's spraying the neighbor's house, or those kind of things, then the simplest thing for you to do and the easiest thing to do is to go into the irrigation system, into the controller, and turn the system off. And then that way we can get out and diagnose the problem. This time of the year, as we're getting into that summer time of the year, it's a great time of the year to be checking the irrigation system. and making sure that it's fully functional and it's good to go for the season. It's just kind of like your air conditioner. You change the air filters in your air conditioner because you want them to be efficient and you want it to cool when it needs to. And it's the same with the irrigation system. We want it to operate properly when it needs to operate in the spring and summer. And so in order to do that, it's a great time during the beginning of the season to make sure that all the valves are right, the pipes are right, and the heads are adequately producing and putting out water. Now, that way we're not watering concrete, or we're not watering a house, or we're not watering fences. Those things don't grow, and so even though we wish our houses would grow with water, they don't grow. So therefore, we need to make sure that we shut those off and make sure they're not getting water in those areas. So when you think of an emergency with your irrigation system, or you get that call, or you get that call from your husband or your wife, there's an emergency with the irrigation system, remember, the best thing to do is to go out to the meter, shut the meter off. If you can, isolate it with an isolation valve. If you don't have those things, or you're not sure where those things are located on your property, let us know. We'll be more than happy to have someone come out, help you, see what we can make sure you know where everything is, and that way you're in good shape when you do have an emergency. So if you need some help with your irrigation system, maybe it's got an emergency or you've got a problem or whatever, give our office a call. You can reach our office at 478-988-0043. Again, 478-988-0043. Leave a voicemail message there and we'll have someone get in touch with you. If it's an emergency and it's out of hours, we check our voicemail because we'll get an email that you've called. We'll listen to the voicemail and then we can get someone out to take care of it for you. But again, you can call the office at 478-988-0043 and we'll be more than happy to assist you with any of your irrigation needs or helping you make sure that you've got everything you need in case you have an emergency.